Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Rowing Chat. I love this time of the month because it gives me the opportunity to have a fantastic conversation with other people who, like us, are passionate about rowing, sculling, coaching and enjoying our sport. This month, I'm joined by Beppe de Capua. Welcome, Beppe.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell us all a little bit about yourself and your career in rowing?
Yeah, I am Italian, of course. I think you know it. I started coaching in 1981, Italian national coach, until 1992. In these 12 years, I was coaching sweep and sculling, with medals in Olympic Games and World Championship, and then even some junior and under 23 crew in the meantime, as well medal in the World Championship, junior and under 23, and then in 2003, I've been with Spain, not full time, but like consultant. We was winning gold medal in '93, and then 1/4 place in Olympic Games, other medals in World Championship, junior and lightweight, and then in 2000, from 97, sorry, until 2000, I've been consultant for Japan. We was winning a gold medal in 2000 World Championship in the quad lightweight man, and finalist the double man in Olympic Games in Sydney. And then in the meantime, I had some courses, some conference about sculling in Great Britain, and then about sculling sweep in the Netherlands. And then in 2003, I was consultant for Greece, and Greece was winning medals. Also 2004 in Olympic Games, they got bronze medal in the double lightweight man. And then 2004 has been as well consultant of USA, female and men in sweep, especially with the 8 men. And they was successful, you know, gold medal in Athens Olympic Games 2004. Then I was working with China, consulting 2007, 2008 for Beijing Olympic Games and the Munich World Championship in 2007. And also China was good results, especially with female, 2 medals in Olympic Games in 2008. And then I start again with Italy in 2000. I was jumping. I was with Italy also 2005, 2006, head coach, technical director of Italy, 2005, 2006, and we got the medal in the World Championship, in the 8, in the sculling, lightweight, and so on, many medals. And in 2006, Italy was winning the FISA trophy, you know, in the special FISA ranking about points. Italy, the only time in our history, in Italy's history, that was winning this ranking. Then I told you 2007, 2008 with China, and then 2009 again with Italy, head coach until London Olympic Games, where we got one silver medal in the double man, and one fourth place in coxswain pair men.
Yeah.
Double man was open, heavyweight, and as well the coxswain pair, because doesn't exist in Olympic Games, the
Yes.
lightweight coxswain pair, of course. And then 2013, 2014, I have been working with Galatasaray Rowing Club in Turkey, and my rowers this year was winning silver medal in lightweight under 23 single, and then in the World Championship weight was bronze medal. Those was historical results for Turkey. First time in rowing was getting these medals, and then in Amsterdam Olympic Games this year, I was also consultant for the single Cuba, the single man heavyweight, that he got the bronze medal last World Championship. This is more or less all. Then I had many coaches around on behalf of ISAM, and in many countries I had this conference.
Fantastic. So a busy man, but also someone who has had a lot of experience with a lot of different countries in rowing and sculling. Now, we asked our readers to send us some questions, our listeners. And the first one I have is from Thomas from the Pittsford crew. And he asks, does the focus of the sculling stroke change depending on whether you are in a single scull, a double scull, or a quad?
Yeah, change mainly from the distribution of the power during the stroke, because we know that the stroke in the single take long time, longer time than the double, in the double longer time on the quadruple. So the power curve, the strength curve is different due to the fact that the boat is slower, and like I said, needs more time the stroke, because the length of the stroke doesn't change. It's the same in single or quadruple or double. As well, the principle of the rowing technique doesn't change. I mean, how to use the legs, the back, the arms doesn't change. What change is the distribution of the power during the recovering. The stroke. And then, of course, also the rhythm is different, because not only the time of a stroke is different, but also the time of recovering. In fact, the stroke rate of race single is lower than the quadruple. That is the only big change, but it's not easy. In fact, it's not easy for rower used to go in single immediately to adapt to the quadruple and or for the double. Are different feelings, and they need time to adapt. I was mentioning the Cuban single that this year was third in the World Championship. Angel Fournier Rodriguez. He was rowing the quad in 2007, and on behalf of ISA, I was helping this quad just 1 month before the World Championship Olympic qualification in Munich, 2007, and this guy was in the quadruple. Then he jumped in the single, but he started the single after Olympic Games, because Cuba got the qualification in 2007 to go to Beijing, and then he started in single, but he spent 2 years to start to have top results. He started to have good results last year. Last year he was a silver medal. Of course, he was not the New Zealander guy. He was not my Drisdale in the World Championship because you know very well he got injury.
Yes.
This year Mae was there and the Cuban was the third. But still he needed time to adapt from the quad to the single. So the answer is what must focus is the feeling of a blade work, is different blade work due to the fact that the time in the water is longer in the slow boat than in the faster boat.
Do you recommend any particular exercises to help this focus on the blade work?
Yeah, you have many drills to increase the feeling, because my principle is that in rowing, first of all, you must learn how don't break the boat. That is the goal number one. It's easier with beginners. It's not so easy with people that is used in bad way. After years of rowing, they are breaking the boat. So the first goal is to teach how don't break the boat, especially during the catch, especially in the finish of a stroke. And then the second goal, when you learn this, tank a very good feeling, you start to pull, to push, to give power to the boat, to give pressure to the blade work. And to do this, you need to row many kilometers without in high intensity, with low intensity, to get the feeling. And then in the meantime, you need very good drills, exercise to help this developing.
And your drill, do you have a particular drill that you recommend to develop this blade work feeling?
Yeah, we have good drill is the two stop during the recovering.
Yep.
Stop with the back in the finish position.
Yep.
More or less 30 degree, 25, 30, 35 depends. And then just move the arms forward.
Yep.
And this is one stop. Then after a while, you move only the back, and then this is the second stop. And then you go to finish the recovering.
Yeah.
This is very good because it gives good balance feeling and also good feeling about the cooperation between your body, the sculls of the oar, and the boat, and that is just for recovering. Then good drill for the catch is what we call the multiplied catching. But you see, always say that the exercise, the drills are like a medicine. Medicine helps, first of all, if it's the right medicine that you need. If it's not the wrong medicine.
Yes.
If the doctor is not a good doctor, that he make a mistake to choose the right medicine, this is start to be a big problem. The second is that, like medicine, you have to take to do the drills, the exercise. Okay, medicine, you have to take the right quantity, the right hours, the right moment of the day, and as well the drills, the exercise, you have to do properly in the right position, the right angle. And third, like medicine, you have not to do overdo, because if you take too much medicine, is poison, and then as well the drills. So the coach must drills are not don't do miracles. They are very good. They help a lot if you do it properly, in the right moment, the right exercise, and in the right way.
Perfect. I understand that completely. Our next question is from John from Oxford Rowing Club, and he's asking, how does the boat class influence the body position, the rigging, and the arc length?
Yeah, about body position and arc length, like I mentioned before, is more or less the same, doesn't change. The principle of this position, the body position, the length, is the same rowing technique. What changes is the rigging. And also rigging, you must do very properly. I say, so look, I say, the right rigging is not very difficult, but it's easy to do stupid, I say, mistake, simple mistake that are so simple that is they are stupid, but it's easy to do that in the pitch of the blade, in the height of the wheels, the position of the foot stretcher, and this change from boat class to boat class, and the coach must do properly. But look, you can say, okay, the right rigging for the double heavyweight or lightweight, men or women is this. No, depends which kind of rower you have, about their morphology, about their development of a muscle strength, about their flexibility. So there are many things to take in consideration, because you have to adapt the rigging to the situation of the rowers, her or his physiologic performance in this moment, and the morphology of the body, and also about I mentioned before, the flexibility of the angle of the body when is doing the movement or the rowing movement. So the principle is that yes, the boat class make influence in rigging, but also the kind of rowers have influence in rigging, not only the boat class. About the body position and the length, you should stick what we think is the right technique.
Good. So your technique is your guide, and then you adjust to suit the different people who are in the boat.
Yeah.
So John, I hope that gives you a good answer. Moving on, we have Anne, who's got in touch from Minneapolis Rowing Club in the United States, and she says, why does a boat set up better going into a headwind?
Yeah, headwind is a good referment point for the rowers, is a fixed point. So the crew is able to, I mean, it's not like a tailwind. Tailwind, in one way, you are, especially when you are not expertise rower, is like to row in the blue. I mean, they have not a fixed point. Headwind is a fixed point, and then help the rowers to stand the right body position, the right angle, and also about the feeling. It's better to feel the boat and the cooperation between your body, the boat, the blades, when there is a headwind. With tailwind, you need much more feeling, to develop more feeling.
That's a very clear answer. So, in contrast, how do you row in a tailwind? What's your advice?
Yeah, the, the principle of the way to row doesn't change. What changes is the rigging, especially the length of the sculls or the oars. Normally, I don't change the inboard. I don't change the span. Normally, I just change the outboard. Because if you start to change the inboard, if you start to change the span, the technical picture in the feeling of a rower change. So I prefer to play it by the outboard. And when it's tailwind, of course, I make longer outboard, so the gearing is harder. When it's headwind, I put a little bit shorter outboard in the sculls, in the oar, and so is a little bit easier the gearing.
That's very clear, thank you.
Welcome.
Now, Nick has got in touch asking if you could choose only one sculling drill, which one would it be?
Yeah, of course, like I mentioned before, we have many drills. You can also use with fantasy, but if I have to choose one in sculling, I prefer the drill where during the drive, the stroke, and during the release, during the recovering, the two ends are crossing. I mean, exactly the overlap.
On the handles, overlapping on the handle. Yep.
Yeah, when because normally we use the technique where the right hand is lower than the left hand.
Yep.
And then there is a moment that these two hands are perpendicular. One is under and one is over. Right under and left over. Okay. So during the normal stroke, I ask to stop exactly in that moment, and the rower herself or himself and the coach, of course, check if the two ends are exactly perpendicular. During the stroke, this stop, it means when they reach that moment, they stop with the blades out of the water, and then they check. And then after a while, they put again the sculls in the water, they finish the stroke. During the recovering, the blades are releasing, and then they stop in that moment when there is the overlap of the two ends. That helps a lot, because we think that it's very important that the two blades during the stroke also during the recovery, but mainly during the stroke, they have the same angle speed.
Yep.
The same angle speed. So the two blades are to catch in the front position exactly the same angle. For instance, if you want 45 degree when they are in the water, in the catch, both blades must be 45 degree. And as well, if in the finish you want 135, for instance, both must be 145. But it's not only this, is that they must do this angle and this work in the water with the same speed. So they start together, they finish together, and they are doing exactly the same angle, the same, the same arc.
So from that point of view, when your hands are one over the top of the other at that crossover point, you prefer them to be precisely vertical, left hand over the top of the right hand. You don't like them to have one in front and one behind.
Can you repeat, please? Because sometimes there is some noise.
When you're sculling and your hands are perpendicular, as you described, with the left hand at the top and the right hand at the bottom, you want them to be exactly one over the top of the other. You don't want one hand to be a little bit in front and the other hand a little bit behind. Is that correct?
No, yes, I prefer that they are exactly perpendicular, because if you have one hand a little bit in front, one hand a little bit behind, it means that the angle speed in the water is different, and that you have a kind of effect like in the coxswain spear. Okay, not so much, of course, but still you have that kind of consequence. And then the boat is not going anymore straight, like in sculling should be. Is moving a little bit right, left, right, like the straight four. I repeat, much less than the straight four, but still is doing. And this, it means more friction in the water. It means that you are losing speed. For this reason, I want this situation. Of course, the wheels, the riggers must be in different position, different height from the seat and from the water. Of course.
What is
we know that in this case, sorry, Rebecca, we know that in this case you have some balance problem. Yes, we know, because one blade is working the water a little bit deeper than the other blades, and that is negative, of course. But we have seen that among between these two negative situations, I mean the situation with one blade a little bit deeper than the other blade, and then the other situation with different speed angle during the stroke, we have seen with some application, with some biomechanical research, that this last problem is less big than the other problem. You can't avoid both problems. It's impossible. You can't avoid.
So
you must choose. You must choose. Is a compromise. What is what you think is the less problem? And we have seen, we have faced that the less problem is this one. I prefer the two blades little bit in different position in the water, but with the same angle, arc angle, and the same arch speed in the water, angle speed in the water.
Tell me when you are rigging the swivels, the gates, how much higher is your left gate than your right gate to make this happen?
Yeah, depends how are big the legs of the rowers. Because yes, we know that when the rower is in the finish, he needs a space to go down, to go out from the water. He must go down by hands.
Yes.
And if he has small, or she has small legs, doesn't need so much distance from the seat to the wheels.
Yeah.
If has a big legs, like heavyweight man, 95, 100 kilos, of course they need higher, because if not, they touch the legs during the release.
Yes.
And then this is one point. Another point depends how tall is the back.
Yes.
From the seat, the shoulder. Then we have a third point that many of us don't take in consideration, but is important. The distance of the wheel from the water. We need also that, and we know that faster is the boat, more distance you need from the water. The blades need more room when it's going out from the water. The single, for instance, needs less room than the quad. So you take in consideration all these factors, and then you choose the right. For instance, single female lightweight maybe is enough, 15.5 the right, and 16.5 or 16.7 the left, also because she has small fingers, small hands. So can be just 6-7 millimeters from the right and the left, the distance, the difference. But if you have a very big rower with big legs, high back and high shoulders, and big hands, big fingers, maybe the right you need 17, and the left 18, 18.2, maybe even more. Somebody also 17.5 and 18.7. And then from the water, we know that single normally is good to have around 23, 24 from the water is enough. But the quadruple, you need 26, 27, the 8 that Hello?
Hi. So the last
Hi.
thing I heard was that for the quad, 26 to 27 centimeters height off the water, and then you started to talk about the 8.
Yeah, the 8 should be even more than the quad, because the blades are even bigger than the quadruple, than the double. So 8, maybe 27, 28 from the water. But also that depends the good skill of a rower. because we know that we want, when the blade go out from the water, they must be clean. Don't wash, what we say, washing the water. Don't break the boat. Go out with a good pressure to the last moment when the blade is the water, then immediately go up without washing. And then top rowers, they don't need a big room because they have very good skill. But some rowers, they need a little bit more room than the top rowers. So coming back to the question, when you are making rigging, you have to take in consideration the distance from the seat. I mean the distance of the wheel from the seat and from the water, and which kind of rower you have. How tall is, not generally tolling, the tall of the back. That part of the body is important.
Yes.
And how big are the legs? The circular, circle, how big are the quadricipit?
Quadricep, yeah.
That part of the leg.
Yeah. And the quadriceps, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. There are a lot of things clearly to take into consideration. Now, we have another question about rigging from Jackie, and she asks, do you set your crew's foot stretchers to match at the finish or at the catch?
At the finish. I put normally I put the seat I like, first of all, I put the rower in the boat. Then I move the central part of the seat. I start to measurement from that part. I take 57 centimeters,
57.
and then I fix the, I fix the 58, 58, and then I fix the full stretcher. So, but moment is very important. I start from the line of the work.
Yes.
Line of the work to center of the seat.
Yes.
At the backstop, at like I said, at the finish position.
Yeah.
And I put that 58. Then I adjust the foot position, the rower adjust the foot position from that point.
Yes.
It's clear?
Very clear. That's absolutely right. Is that measurement any different for sweep than sculling?
No. I use this 58 like starting point in each boat, from single to the 8. Then this is starting point. Then I see our working, our adapting to this position, because you see the goal is that all the crew, now we are talking from 2 rowers till 8 rowers. It's important that all the crew, the 2 or the 4 or the 8 rowers, they do exactly the same arc length in the water. So maybe that this starting point is not good for everybody. So I have to adapt when they are rowing. I see if some rowers, for instance, is too short, the length of this rower is too short. Okay, maybe I don't touch this 58 centimeters, but just I touch the span. I mean, I put a shorter span,
Yes.
and I let her or him to be longer. But if this mm, is not enough, maybe this rower needs to move a full stretcher in on the stern. So it depends. But to answer to a question that Jackie did, I say I start at the finish.
Very good. Excellent. Now, we are going to have a short pause and we have our sponsor this week. Rowing Chat is sponsored today by the newest product in the RowPerfect shop, rowing gloves. Designed for sculling and rowing by people who know the sport inside out and understand blisters. These are the gloves you need as the season restarts or when you go on training camp. Each glove covers the palm, the thumb, and 3 fingers. The fingers are articulated at the second knuckle and have elastic over the back to ensure a snug fit and a Velcro fastening at the wrist. There are 2 designs. One has the palm in untextured synthetic suede. The other has a printed grip pattern on the suede. This is for your feathering hand, the inside hand in sweep. So buy yourself 1 plain glove and 1 patterned for sweep rowing, or 2 patterned for sculling. The gloves will go on sale on the 1st of October in the RowPerfect web shop. Go to www.rowperfect.co.uk/rowing-gloves to see our launch special offer. Right, now back to Beppe de Capua, who is giving us the benefit of his extensive knowledge about rigging for rowing and sculling. And now we have a question from John from Camus Rowing Club in the northeast of the UK. What angles do you use at the catch and the finish for a lightweight men's 4?
Yeah, I use in the catch around 45 degree at the beginning to 135 at the finish. This is
very clear. There you go, John. I hope that.
But sorry, pay attention in the water. So when you want exactly this degree, exactly now is important to reach behind the 45 degree to achieve catch at 45, because we know that when you finish release recovering and then you go in water, you are losing a little bit what we call the catch angle.
Yeah.
So if you finish your recovering at 45, then even if you have a very good rower, still they are in the water 40 degree, 42, 41. If they're not good rower, even 38, 37. So you have to take in consideration that if you want a 45 degree in the water, you have to achieve to reach behind the 45 degree, more or less 50 degree, something like that.
Very clear. There you go, John. I hope you can now set up your crew. Now, Ronald from Portadown Rowing Club in Ireland asks, what style of catch do you coach and how do you coach it?
Yeah, I remember I answered with an anecdote. When we was in a FISA coach conference in Istanbul in 2004, after Athens Olympic Games. The keynote was Mr. Mike Teti, my friend Mike Teti, the coach of 8, the successful USA 8. Okay, in the conference, at one point he said, you know, I was coaching, I was teaching the catch like I was doing when I was a rower, and the sound was bang, bang, bang. Then was coming Beppe de Capua, and he told me, Mike, why bang, bang? You must do choof, choof in the water. And then we changed from bang to choof, and it was going better. What I mean that in the catch you have not to disturb the boat. We have to see. Catch you can divide in immersion of a blade and start of the pulling of a blade, the pressure of a blade. During immersion, don't put power on the blade. That is very difficult because it's a short time, it's a timing problem. And then it's very short that time. The time that the blade takes to cover itself is very short. But during that short time, don't put power. If you put power, you just splash, you just disturb the boat, break the boat. You must feel exactly the moment, I say normally, the moment that you have completely put your boat on the blade. Don't think about water. Think about boat. Think that you want to put your boat on the blade. And when you feel that you have done it, now you start to push by legs. If you are in the 8, you do with high power, of course. If you are in the single, much less power, because the profile of the stroke is very different from single, constant pair to quadruple 8. But the principle, the concept to go in the water to get your immersion of the blade is exactly the same, 8 or single. And I try to help the rower, and now we can talk about how do you coach it. I say, look, the blade is your hand, is a prosthesis. If you are in sweep, the two hands, they have one prosthesis. If you are in sculling, each hand has one prosthesis. But you have to think that the blade is your hand, or your hands if you are in a sweep. And by this prosthesis, by this long hand, you have to take the boat, to catch the boat, not catch the water. You must feel the contact between your hands, it means your blades, and the boat. When you feel that the contact is complete, is done, okay, now starts the war. But until that moment, let the blade and the boat to have peace. So rowing is peace and war, war and peace. Release is a peace, immersion is still a peace. Just after immersion to the finish is a war. Different war, because I repeat, in single, the distribution of the power is different from the 8, from the quadruple, but the concept is exactly the same.
Fantastic. I love the description. Now, moving on, Lubo from MRC in Canada asks, how do you see the future for jobs for coaches in high performance rowing?
Yeah. Look, I think that high performance rowing will have more and more position for coach. Why? Because also thank the FISA developing program are more and more countries that are trying high performance rowing. We mean Olympic rowing, world rowing, world championship, Olympic games. And then I think the number of a position is increasing in the future. If we talk about the money they can get, the profit, we know that many countries there are economical problems, generally speaking, but mainly in sport like rowing that has not possibility to have so many sponsors like tennis, like soccer, like cycling and so on, and basketball, volleyball, etc. So I think I repeat, the number of a position will increase for coach inside the high performance rowing. The in-cost maybe will be a little bit less. Okay, maybe in few countries, no, but majority of the country, yes.
So good news for jobs. Moving on, Hector from the Bellon Jesuit prep crew says, should I erg with the power curve slanted to the right in order to go faster in a single scull?
This is a difficult answer because it's difficult answer because I should have to see, the coach should have to see how he's going in this moment in single. So, okay, we know that we can do biomechanical test in the boat and then to have the curve that this rower is doing during the catch in the boat. But this is not simple, it's expensive and not simple. But the coach can anyhow have an idea about the kind of curve, the kind of distribution of the power that his or her rower is doing. And then he has to do the comparison between this situation in the boat with the erg. And then to see if it's good for her or for him to stick the power curve, or maybe for a while say, no, now we don't think about it, we have to think about other aspect, like I said before about feelings. For instance, we know that rowperfect give good possibility to grow the feeling even out of the boat, and then maybe that in certain moment of a planning of a training, it said you don't look so much the power curve, but more the feelings. Then there are other moments of the year of the planning that you stress the power curve, but always this must be done in combination with what this rower is doing in the single, in the boat.
Very clear. Excellent. Now, Gary from Cape Fear, who is a very loyal listener, welcome Gary, asks, do you recommend slightly less stiff oars until one progresses in technique?
Yes, yes, I recommend it because stiff, we know that stiff oars, too stiff, are not good for anybody. But too much, I mean, also this is something that has to do with construction of a body, of the muscles of the rowers. But anyhow, generally speaking, yes, I recommend slightly less stiff oars.
Brilliant. Tom from Pensacola is asking, how to keep the blades off the water on the recovery?
How to keep blades off the water? Yeah, just after the finish is the question.
I think from the finish to the catch. I think the whole way is what he is asking.
Yeah, because in the finish, we know that the boat is fastest when the blade leave the water in a clean release. So this is very important. You can see a hollow in the water when the blade drags out of the water. Is not good because it reduces the boat speed. So first of all, it's important to go out clean. Then the second point, to take a good distance from the water. You need room from the water. First of all, because if there is wind, you don't touch the waves. But you need this also to be prepared for a good catch. Why? Because when you are out of the water, you turn the blades. No? Are not you coming out with a square blade because you are giving pressure. You are not washing, and then the blades are square. Good, but just after when it's completely out of the water, you turn the blade. You take a good room from the water. Why? Because in the last part of the recovering, when you square the blade, you have not to go down by hands, because if you go down, you are skying. The blades are going up, and this skying is very bad, because you are losing what we call catch angle that I mentioned before. So if you have a good room from the water, okay, no problem. You turn your hands and you square the blade, and in the last part of the recovering, you start to do what we call how to say in English, anticipation.
Yes.
What do you anticipate? You anticipate the lifting of your hands, because in that moment the blades are ready, square, and then you start lifting the hands, going closer and closer to the water. So when you change direction on the full stretcher, you are changing direction, the blade is very close to the water, and it's enough 3-4 degrees to get the complete immersion of the blade. And that is very good, because it means that you're pushing of the legs, the negative pushing, when the blade are not yet completely immersed, is not so much negative. But of course, like I mentioned before, during this very delicate moment, you must be very careful with the full stretcher, If not, you get the bang instead of the chuff. If during, yes, if during immersion, I do first mistake before the immersion. Last part of the recovering, I don't make anticipation. I continue to take the blade far from the water. This is a mistake. Then, when I change direction, I am far from the water. I have a big room to go in the water. And then another mistake, just to complete the bad picture, I push very strong by legs on the full stretcher. So in that moment, I make a tragedy. I make, I make I am destroying my rowing because I'm stopping the boat.
Very clear.
So
So what
it's
not
very
to do.
important. Yeah. Sorry?
So it's very important.
It's very important. I repeat, last part of recovering, have room during the recovering, because last part when you square the blade, you have not to sky. That is number one. Then, when the blade are ready, square, you start to lift your hands. And still you are in releasing, you are in the recovering. Then, when you change direction, that the blade start the immersion, you are very close to the water, so you need short time and short time, because you have a short distance from the water. In that moment, be careful, don't push too much the legs on the full stretcher. So these are very important points. We know that the catch is the more delicate point in rowing technique, the more difficult and the more delicate.
Brilliant. Viv has a question about what's the best way to get younger rowers motivated as the season starts again?
Yeah, younger rowers, I think the best is, first of all, that they have to enjoy rowing. But enjoy, because we are talking about season. It means we are talking about race.
We're talking
So-
about after the summer holidays when they return to school. And
sorry, the season, I was thinking racing season. No, in this question, Viv means the season just after the school, when
Yes.
they start. Yeah. Now I catch the point. I think the best motivation is to be able to transmit them the exclusive feeling that rowing can give. What means to feel the boat that is sliding, gliding in the water. What means to reach the right rhythm, synchronism with the other rowers. But even when you are in the tank, in the ergometer, still to feel the combination between your body movement and the rowing technique, because rowing is not a natural movement like is walking, running. So it's important to give them the possibility to taste this aspect and in the water and indoor, and to understand that these feelings only rowing can give, not other sport.
I like it. This week, Beppe, we had 4 people who came to join our rowing club, and they did a row which they hadn't rowed maybe for 10 years. And one of them said, I am so stupid. Why did I wait so long to get back on the water? It feels wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is only rowing can give you that feeling. That's a really, really good catchphrase.
But
and now, sadly, we are coming to...
Rebecca, sorry. Of course, you know, as me, as everybody involved in rowing, that is important, the personality of a coach, especially with the youngers. It's important to transmit them your love. You are a coach that you love rowing. That is a passion. And then especially the young people, they immediately get this, I say this illness, because become illness. When you love rowing is an illness, is something, but is very nice illness, is a passion that gives a lot from the psychological point of view, from the personality point of view, especially, I repeat, the young people that they are growing. And then it's very important that the coach is able to let the younger to taste this side of rowing, not just, you must pull, you must push, rowing is stress. Yes, we know, rowing is stress, but which rowing? Top rowing. Always I say to my rower, look, if you want to try to become top rower, I mean a medalist, finalist in World Championship, in Olympic Games, okay, start the stress. And you must live with the stress. You must understand that stress is our friend, because also coach have stress, not only rower, different stress, but still. So we must live with stress. Stress is our friend, is a part of the game. We must accept and must respect stress, not just be victim of a stress. It's a friend. Help us if we are able to lead it. But this is when you start to be in top rowing. But when we are talking about younger beginners, it's not stress. It's just to enjoy. It's just activity that you have to do with enthusiasm. You coach and then be able to transmit this enthusiasm to the youngers.
That is great advice. Thank you very much. What a nice way to end our rowing chat. Now, we have, of course, this month a free prize draw, as ever, for everybody who is on the RowperFect UK mailing list. You can join the mailing list on our website, and with it you will get a newsletter once a week with news articles of interest from around the world in order to increase all of our enjoyment of rowing and sculling. Now, the free prize draw this month, which will be drawn on the 1st of October, are a complete set of the new rowing gloves. They are size large, and they are 4 gloves in total. 2 with the textured palms and 2 without, so you can use them for sculling or for sweep, rowing on bow side, stroke side, port or starboard. And lastly, let me thank Beppe de Capua. Thank you very much for joining us, for sharing your deep knowledge and love of rowing. We've really enjoyed it.
You are most welcome. Thank you.